Hello, I'm Jonathan Kidd. This is my video blog, my vlog of Chelsea's 2009-2010 season. Saturday, January the 30th, I've been watching Chelsea play Burnley away at Turf Moor. Ye gods, small fishes, and a leak. I am a husk after this game. I didn't think after our recent form we'd play like this again. By this I mean sort of constantly in first gear, as if it actually wasn't very urgent whether we won or lost, which of course it was, with Man U in the arse breathing down our necks. Oh, God, I hated it so much. It's the lack of urgency that's the problem. We keep possession beautifully, but it's the final ball that's lacking, or there's no one in the box to try to score anyway. It was exactly the same performance as Birmingham away. And I had the same feeling in the pit of my stomach as when we were playing Everton at home, that despite all the pretty one-touch football, we wouldn't score again. Too many of the players were at half-cock. Malouda, for example, frequently offside. The curse of Kalou strikes again. The commentator kept saying he didn't seem interested and was running at half speed, and I had to agree. And Ballack, so guilty of giving the ball away, not under pressure, especially in the last few minutes when we needed to keep possession. And Joe Cole, he'd made strides, I thought, on Wednesday against Birmingham, but here he was again, a shadow of what he can do. Ancelotti subbed him with Sturridge with 20 minutes to go, so that told you how well he was playing. I mean, Burnley, of course, are well average. I mean, they're a team of battlers whose maximum wage is $20,000 a week, and like all teams at the bottom of the division, put defending and breaking at the top of the agenda. They didn't manage one shot on target in the whole of the first half. It was like Birmingham the other day. But if we don't put these teams out of their misery, experience tells me we'll regret it. There'll be a lucky deflection from their one attack, or a big boot downfield will be mishit by one of our normally in-charge defenders, and the ball will be smashed unerringly into the net by the one good player. That's how it was today. Fletcher, who's excellent, he's by far the best player for Burnley, latched onto a punt-stroke pass from Robbie Blake, for whom the nickname Lardass would be appropriate. He's one of the largest players in the division. Has clearly eaten all the pies, was eating one just before he came on, had 4 at half-time, keeps one in his shorts for a snack when the ball's stuck on the Fishburn stand roof. Says a lot about Burnley. The main stand's named after a bloke who sells minibuses for a living. Blake's role is to take the free kicks and stand in front of all the Chelsea ones. Anyway, he punted it forward. Alex got there first, tempted to hook it clear back over his head, the knob. Only managed to hit it against Fletcher, bursting forward, who controlled well, slotted under check. And of course, this encouraged Burnley, and they played better in the second half. I forgot to say that despite our first half lethargy, we had scored. Nicolas Anelka got it. Will they stop this girl's name shit, despite it being his first name in French? Just doesn't sound right. This was all down to a sudden burst of energy that put the previous somnambulistic sauntering about to shame. Czech threw the ball out. Joe Cole ran with it, crossed to Malouda, who saw Nicolas Anelka running in, side-footed to him, he tapped him. Simple, incisive, swift. Do. Nicolas Anelka. But then we returned to our shells. I say shells, but we were so in control, you sort of thought, well, they don't have to go up a gear if they're still going to win strolling. And we had a goal disallowed in the second half for offside that replays proved was onside. And I thought, oh, no, it's definitely one of those days. Joe Cole headed in. But the performance was so below par, I was queasy for the whole match with nerves. Why do we play like this after all those great recent displays? Now, one of the reasons for this dreadful performance from us, given our brilliant form of late, might be the John Terry situation, which I haven't mentioned up until now, because I wanted to describe the match. However, in a nutshell, as everyone no doubt knows by now, JT has shagged ex-Chelsea player and now Man City player and England colleague Wayne Bridges' lingerie model ex-girlfriend, Veronica. This supposedly happened when Wayne and she had split up. Wayne has refused to play with JT anymore for England, apparently. I mean, big deal really, because Wayne isn't first choice. Ash Cole's first choice left back. JT has twins by his childhood sweetheart. JT was named Dad of the Year last year. He's now Shag of the Year. He's, been playing away. He'll be forfeiting the Dad of the Year prize, one would think. JT put a gagging order on the papers, preventing them from printing the story. A judge said this was a gagging order too far, as the story was in the public domain anyway, was it? I'd never heard of it. Anyway, JT should face the consequences. The papers are incensed about the gagging order anyway, as it curbs freedom of speech, and political commentators were saying that for a so-called democracy, we had over-harsh laws that stopped the truth from coming out. These things had a right to be heard. The Burnley fans had heard the story all right as they booed JT. Mind you, they booed Ash Cole. He's always booed his Ash for being cashly, for asking for too much money from Arsenal. Anyway, the Burnley fans sang that, same old Terry, always cheating. Same old Terry. Oh, I can't get the tune anyway. And he was then booked for a body check in the second half. This was repeated 3 times as loudly. Now, I think JT has been a bit of a plonker. Despite him earning over $170,000 a week, he's got parents who are drug dealers and shoplifters. He advertised himself as a commodity when he became England captain, and recently was charging £10,000 to give businessmen secret guided tours of the Cobham training pitch, or allegedly, all allegedly. And he clearly needs advisers to suggest he behave less like a prat. I don't know if it is alleged, I think it's been proven. Anyway, he surely must have realised that the news of the world were after him, because when they printed the Cobham training ground story, they had spy cameras hidden in jackets and briefcases, were hoping for a much bigger story than the one they got. So he really should have been on the lookout for other intrusions into his private life, shouldn't he? But I still don't think that what he's done constitutes a reason to strip him of the England captaincy, especially in World Cup year. In fact, the news of the screws is being unpatriotic by putting so much emphasis on JT's private life. Were he abroad, no one would bat an eyelid. Wouldn't be a story. He's a footballer, not an eminent politician or a member of the church. And without his leadership in the World Cup, we would be diminished. So who are the alternatives? Let's think. Gerrard gets involved in scuffles in nightclubs, isn't very vocal, allegedly. Rooney, madcap swearer, confrontational person with no captain experience, allegedly. Ferdinand, drug test avoider, allegedly. Though he is vice-captain. Lampard, now there's a possibility. But I don't think that JT's penis and what he does with it matters. The press want revenge, though, for his gagging attempts, and suddenly the airwaves are full of people saying his behaviour is disgusting, he should never play for England again. In the same way that Cantona's drop-kick on that arse of an abusive Palace fan all those years ago, a journalist baying for blood and asking for life bans. So this whole incident could be a reason for the Chelsea team's lacklustre showing today. It's certainly an explanation, because we were back in Blick territory. Of course, life being what it is, the scorer of our second goal and the winner was JT himself, who celebrated as if he'd been caught with his cock in an ex-teammate's girlfriend knickers. Very subdued indeed. Incidentally, the corner from which JT bulleted the copybook downward header had been won by Sturridge on for Joe Cole. Sturridge done a neat piece of fast-moving backwards-forwards trickery, get his shot off, and the shot had been blocked. So we won 2-1, but the fallout from JT's shagfest will run and run. I watched at my friend Jonathan's. He's a JT too, thanks to both JTs, but the Chelsea JT has a very difficult period ahead of him.